5,815 pounds, the 24 RBS J Flight making its return to our lineup here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. As we go through this, regular viewers of Haylett RV here are going to say, dang it, this looks familiar, and that's because this is very, very similar to the 248 RBS Freedom Express that we carry here at Haylett RV. In a sense, it's interesting that the Freedom Express has really just become, in a lot of ways, the J Flight Ultralight, but it most certainly has its own identity. But this video is not about the Freedom Express, it's about the one in front of us. Why is it the J Flight is and has been the #1 selling travel trailer since 2005 and counting? Well, let's find out. One of the super handy aspects of this floor plan is that with the slide closed, like it is right now obviously, you maintain full access to this camper. Other than, obviously, the TV. Chances are, if the slides close like this, you're probably not wanting to sit on the sofa and watch TV anyway, but I guess if that really is your prerogative, you could probably open those cross breeze windows on the slide sides and, you know, get at least some view of the television. I don't think that's a really big deal. I'm just being silly. So, they could have gone with a bigger countertop, but instead they went with a countertop that extends further this direction, so you still have all the same prep space, but it doesn't stick out quite as far, so it's very easy to walk through here without having to do some crazy travel trailer sidestep shuffle. And obviously we can get back to the bathroom to get to all the storage here that we're going to learn about in just a minute. And although it is nice to be able to get through the camper with the slide closed, it's when she's open in destination mode that this one really shines. Because what they did here is just shockingly genius. Basically, guys, it doesn't look like it, but this is a super slide camper. Hear me out. Super slide is usually going to have a dinette and a slide with a sofa beside it. Well, the problem with doing that is you have to crank your neck 90 degrees to the right or left to see the television in a super slide camper in this size. So what they did is they took the sofa out of the slide, turned it perpendicular, and bam! Direct facing entertainment center that is a no neck wrecker. That's all they really did here. It's not overly complicated, but it is deadly effective. This is an extremely well executed camper. The Freedom Express cousin quickly became one of our better selling campers here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. So, why this one though? What is it about this one? And quick little note, we proactively quality inspect everything as we go through here. You're going to notice, like, hey, there's a light out on this one. Yep, we're aware. And we're going to have that resolved before you even take it home. Chances are, had I not talked about it and you just walked down to our lot to buy it, you never would have known that's there because we proactively quality control stuff before it goes out on the road. That's one of the things we try to do for you here at Haylett's. The interior is one of the better parts of the J Flight, I think, and there's a ton of reasons why this is and has been the #1 selling RV, not just trailer actually, but RV period since '05. But one of the major factors, I think, is the interior height being 6'9". The standard size camper out there is 6.5 foot tall. Sometimes you'll get 6.5 foot with that bubble vault. This is 6'9" tall. That allows for a taller slide out. When the walls are taller, guys, we can get a taller slide out. We can get bigger kitchen cabinetry we'll look at in a minute. We can get a taller shower, which is very important for a person like me who's over 6 foot tall. There's a lot of benefits to it, basically, not to mention the fact that it just looks and feels more open. But here's really the neat thing. We'll talk about it outside where I can show you. This actually doesn't have a taller roof, which sounds like, what now? Didn't you just say it was taller? It's not a taller roof. They didn't build the camper taller. The floor is actually built slightly lower, and you'll see how they do that outside. Going through here, there's a lot of different arrangements for the seating here because they use this free-floating elliptical-based dining table. So if you want to, you can move that dining table over in front of the sofa for like evening viewing for couples camping, you know, if you want to be right over here. Obviously, you can sit down and play cards with it. You could take it outside as a picnic table because it easily folds down and goes out the door. And obviously, that can fold down into a guest sleeper as well. More on that in just a few minutes. Another good thing they did here is all of the windows open for ventilation. And actually, there's 2 or 3 things J Flights do on their windows that are not necessarily standard in this class. So first of all, they all open for airflow, not just a couple here and there. Secondly, they're heavily UV tinted. We can see out of them like nobody's business. But as we walk around the outside, you'll find out that we can't really see inside. Another thing here, nicer pleated shades. Now, a lot of campers have those, but I do actually appreciate that Jay-Flights went with the darker near blackout shades so that you really can blot the sun out and have more privacy. But then this, they went to the extra time and effort to fully frame out all their windows. One, it looks cool, but two, it gives these pleated shades an anchor to really bite into, and we've noticed pleated shade screw bottoms here seem to stop falling out of our Jay-Flights. Isn't that something? Under the dining table, you've got, or under the booth rather, there's full storage down there, and the bench ends actually have these easy access storage totes you can just slide out. Here's another little Jay-Flight thing. Whether you upgrade the thermal package or not, which basically we almost always do here at Haylett RV, you will still get an insulated slide out. You can see that thermal foil, flashy looking stuff down there. That's the same stuff that they'll use to help protect and insulate the upper deck or the basement or the belly or anything of the Jayco Pinnacle Luxury fifth wheel. And they use the double-sided thermal foil, not the single-sided, what we sometimes call hot dog paper, because it's just a better insulator. It just does a better job. Name another camper that does that in this class. And the only other answer is going to be the Jay-Flight SLX. The other Jay-Flight, basically, guys. All Jayco slide outs are insulated, standard. You don't have to pay extra for that. So again, on the sofa, we've got the direct viewing entertainment center, so you don't need to wreck your neck. Now what's neat is you've got down here this new IRV stereo system. There's a free app you can get on your phone to be able to operate this thing completely on your phone. But what's fun too is we've got face-mounted HDMI and USB charging plugs. And that allows you to plug in Chromecast, Roku sticks, a Blu-ray player, satellite system, whatever you really want. So it's very streaming mobile media friendly. We will typically upgrade the air conditioners on our Jay-Flights to a 15,000 BTU. Of course, I'm looking at the skylight as I say that. That is an optional piece of equipment, the extra cooling power, and it costs very little to do it, and it adds a very significant cooling power and benefit to the camper. Another option we like to apply to these is that kitchen skylight. Understand the one in stock could be a little different from the one we have here, but this one right here is generally how we bring them in. If you have feedback, things you'd like to see different otherwise, please let us know. Your feedback matters at Haylett RV. So it lets in a lot of natural ambient light, but they can be a little warm, which is why you have a nice little pleated shade right here to close that off if you want. Now over here in the kitchen, we're going to start with the fact that we've got an 8 cubic foot fridge freezer instead of a 6 standard in this nice stainless steel appliance bundle. And like I said, if I back up a little bit and we look at the kitchen cabinetry here, starting up top, you can see that being extra tall allowed them to put a shelf up in there to double your overhead cabinet space. And then down here, you're going to see that we have drawers to the floor and a nice wastebasket space so that there's not an ounce of space gone to waste, which is nerdism number 37 if you've been paying attention. They're all number 37. There's no reason. Don't ask. So the drawers you see, there's more of them, and they're plywood boxed with beveled edges, so you're not going to get splinters on your fingers if you rub the edge of that thing. And while we're over here, let's finish up the kitchen. First of all, a real backsplash, not the liar liar pants on fire wallpaper, and something you can actually reach up there and click with your fingernails, and a sealed edge thermal foil kitchen countertop. These have become a really big deal. The Cherokee series of campers by Forest River we have here at Haylett RV, they've been doing them for years to great effect, and I think Jay-Flight finally went, all right, we can't quit fighting that tide, we got to do this too, and I respect them for it. I respect them for listening to consumer feedback and identifying a superior component, because it's sealed. And, so if you splash water anywhere up here, it's not going to damage anything, but it allows them to recess this really big, deep sink so that you've got this, now cutting board cover and the little aluminum drying rack right here for dish time. They also will spend a little more on their hardware here. Like we have a high-rise sprayer faucet, the end can pop out here, but if you listen, it's not plastic. They're using better materials in here, which is one of the examples of why this has double the warranty of a common travel trailer. Now my battery's blinking at me, so if we clip out I might have to just kind of hot swap batteries and keep on going. So one of the things I talked about is a taller shower, and case in point, I'm about 6'3", and you can see that I can stand in this camper without my head in the bubble necessarily, which is a really nice factor. It's one of the reasons I actually camp in a Jay-Flight. When I go camping, basic little no-slide bunkhouse camper, but this is kind of my style, guys. Other little things here, they really straight borrowed this from their sister Eagle up in the trailer and fifth wheel lines. But this single little blue LED light right here becomes the most amazing night light you've ever seen, and it causes like the big white shower walls and the light colored walls and all the white fixtures in here to glow at night, and you can really see where you're going. Now, they did a really amazing job with this bathroom arrangement right here. This is also, not only is this similar to the Freedom Express, but J-Flight used to make a model very similar to this called a 24 RBS. It just wasn't quite as dialed in as this. And after a few years, they looked at it and went, wait a minute, what if we do this, this, and this? And bam, this thing comes in. I'm going to sneeze. Woo, excuse me. Am I the only, when I sneeze, I get goosebumps? Is that weird? Anybody else, please leave a comment in the YouTube here if you also get goosebumps when you sneeze. Or tell me why. Why do I do that? Anyway, big sink and a corner sink, so it's out of the way, but you can actually get adult hands in there. And I like the extra chunks of countertop space for things like toothbrushes and shavers. Also, notice that the medicine cabinet and the mirror are similarly angled for easy viewing. You don't have to stand with your backside out of the bathroom to use it. But, new latches. It's this monster closet above the outside kitchen right here that really helps define this bathroom. And this is something that J-Flight's done for years, are these huge bathroom closets. Very, very common, actually, in almost any rear bathroom couples camper. Now, you see how big this is. The outside kitchen is down here, so this is not wasted space. And some people, when we get outside, they're going to say, I like the taller outside kitchen. Again, that's part of why I carry the Freedom Expresses here at Haylett RV. But if it was the taller outside kitchen, you'd cut this storage in half. And you'd still have a big cabinet up there, but it'd be half of what it is now. So that's one of those areas where I always say how every camper is the best in a different way. That's one of the good examples of that. Everything has a push-pull exchange. Which features are more important to you? And that will help you determine which camper is, quote, the best, but the best for you. Now, little stuff like this, including this extra pretty nicely sized cabinet above the sofa over here on the privacy wall, they probably could have got away with not doing that and nobody would have flinched, but J-Flight tends to go a little bit further than anybody else in this class. It's really interesting because they're not at all the least expensive thing in this category. In fact, they're the most expensive thing in a wood skeleton category. Yet they've been, by far, the most successful since 2005 and counting. Pretty impressive stuff. Mostly, the bedroom in this hasn't really changed. Pardon my little coat hanging up on the coat rack over here, but what a great demonstration. Nothing I actually intended. So, all around the bedroom, we're all carpetless, easy cleaning. The bed does easy lift, and that is a longer 80-inch True Queen bed with storage below. If you take a look, it's on double gas struts. It easily lifts, and you'll see even the bed decking under the bed is plywood. You're not going to find OSB in this camper. You just won't. That's not what they do at J-Flight. Now, we got our big cross breeze windows and extra large side stands. What I like about them being wide open like this, and there's different benefits to full length or 3/4 length, I guess you could call it, closets. And this one gives you the large side stands where you have more than enough room to put like CPAP machines and whatnot for very comfortable sleeping. Now, the only real bedroom update they've really put in here recently is the TV hookups over here with this little quick release TV mount that they straight borrowed from their sister ultralights, the J Feather and the White Hawk. If you choose to add a TV up here in the bedroom, this thing right here, it's got a quick little switch. It just quickly dismounts and remounts. So you can take the TV down. You don't really have to take the TV down for transit, but you can also take it outside for entertainment time. Case in point, you have a matching mount on the outside of the camper with outside TV hookups right next to the outside kitchen over here, and the TV hookups are located nicely under the awning. So you have yourself just an awesome outdoor tailgate entertainment station on the back of this camper right here. Now, of course, awnings power, LED lighting, even has speakers built into the awning arms, so you, almost backed in the camper behind me here, so that you don't have extra holes in the sides of the camper where you have to mount speakers, you know. Not that that's ever been like a frequency problem with any brand that I've really known here, just that it's one less thing that possibly could go wrong. So, these guys have double the RV warranty of basically anybody else. And for a couple years, there were a few brands that tried to match Jayco's 2-year RV warranty. And then they peeled back. And suddenly everybody's gone to this 1-year warranty plus 3-year structural. And some structural warranties are very good, give you a lot of peace of mind. Some are worthless. Some do absolutely nothing, and you need to really look at the fine print to see which one's which. Meanwhile, here's Jayco, still offering double the full camper warranty on anything and everything they build. These guys have twice the warranty of anybody else out there. So, you know, year number 2, God forbid something happens. Let's say a big expensive thing like your refrigerator, that gas electric refrigerator goes out. A 3-year structural warranty is not going to cover you. Jayco's warranty will. Actually, what's cool about Jayco's warranty, because they do so much testing on their appliances, that if the manufacturer, let's say of the microwave, only warrants their product for 1 year, Jayco will still cover it for 2 because they're confident that it will hold up in their campers. That's what I like about these guys. They've got a little more attention to that sort of detail. They do more research in that regard. So you saw that very large pass-through storage. But did you notice that both the door side baggage door here and the off-door side baggage door were the same size? They don't scale down on the other door because you're not looking at it. When people go camper shopping, you purchase this side of the trailer, but you tend to use the other side of the trailer. I mean, you use both sides of the camper. You really need to investigate both sides of the camper. Now, little detail things. You're going to see all LED tail and marker lights on J-Flights, and that is something that not every camper, even a lot of luxury fifth wheels, are still not yet doing. And an extra thing they're still doing at Jayco is they are top sealing all exterior components. It's just that extra layer of protection against, you know, just the general use and wear and weather patterns that these things go through. Now, I mentioned how this has a taller ceiling, but not a taller overall roof line. And no, Bob Vila didn't invest. Is Bob Vila still current? Is that a reference that you folks are getting, or am I just getting old? Oh my God. Anyway, the way they do this is that every Jayco, not just J-Flights, but all Jaycos ride on custom engineered chassis. They might have the same chassis manufacturer as someone else, but all of Jayco's chassis are built to Jayco specs, and it actually kind of drives the chassis manufacturer nuts. Like, you don't have to do that. And Jayco goes, yeah, we do. So one of the ways you can start to spot this is up front here, you have this extended diamond plate. It wraps all the way down, but you might notice too that the A-frame here, the tongue of the camper, if you will, actually merges with the chassis. It's not tacked on below the chassis. Now, a tacked on A-frame, it doesn't it's not structurally inferior, interestingly, but what it does is it forces the whole camper up as tall as that beam, so at least 6 if not 8 inches, which that means that this camper here has a lower center of towing gravity, and you know, basically it just is less tipsy as a result. Now, we like to apply the thermal package to these J-Flights, and that starts with an enclosed heated belly, but what it goes on to then, that's where a lot of campers are going to stop. And there's nothing wrong with an enclosed heated belly. That's pretty good for extended use. However, this basically upgrades the J-Flight to like a full fifth wheel insulation package. It starts with the heated enclosed belly. We already saw the insulated slide, so they're already up and above there. Then they add extra 2 different layers of insulation into the underbelly and another layer of insulation in the roof that wraps down around the nose. Very, very similar to something like an Eagle fifth wheel, which has been 0 degree tested. J-Flights have not. I don't know if they can or can't pass. I know that if it's going to be cold overnight, I think that this thing's going to hold up a little bit longer, you know. But that's one of the reasons J-Flights are maybe a little more money and maybe a little bit heavier, because they've done a little bit more along the way. Now, stuff that you can't see too, and if you ever get a chance to do a factory tour, the J-Flight plant, I think, is one of the best down at Jayco. But you really get to see the things where they have put more into the construction and engineering of this product. So, like, every piece of insulation outside is fully hand tucked and hand glued in place so that it can't sag down. The fact that we've got plywood roof and floor construction as opposed to OSB, which is one of the reasons why J-Flights have their Magnum Truss roof system that is rated for up to like 4,500 pounds or potentially more depending on the floor plan. You could say 45 and be safe though. Now, on top of that, slide out support. They have this huge 8-inch micro-laminated header beam above the slide out that extends way past the slide out so that you have extra structure up there. And the reason that's really important, guys, is because the wall is much, much thinner on top of the slide out right there. The last thing that you want is a structural loss there, which causes that wall to sag or bend or bow or lose its shape in any way. Because if that slide wall does not stay square, then the slide seals are not going to stay in contact with the slide, and you got yourself a leak that can't be fixed with just a little bit of sealant. That's a structural failure. You don't have that. Can't have that here. I mean, they're way heavier in that regard. That's, again, one of the reasons these things weigh a little bit more. They have a little bit more lumber put inside of them. So we talked about the LED tail and marker lights, but also for safety, we have the backup camera prep back here, and that can work for either backup or observation cameras. The difference being observation cameras can work in motion, and we have those on the shelf all the time here at Haylett RV if you're curious. Black tank flush, outside utility shower with hot and cold water. Little things like that are going to be standard on here. The spare tire is standard. It's amazing some brands still don't offer that standard. And the spare tire's a full radial, Goodyear radial. That's another thing we haven't talked about. J-Flights ride on, all Jaycos actually, ride on Goodyear Endurance radial tires rated for up to 87 miles an hour. They're overrated, so that if it is a hot day, the road's blistering hot, you're not going to have near the potential for tire failure. Now, always keep your tires inflated. Guys, you have to understand, improper tire inflation is still the #1 cause of trailer tire failures. That is a user ownership maintenance thing. We get spoiled in our cars because there's that little yellow indicator with the low pressure tire sensor thing going on in our cars. You have to add it into your pre-departure routine, check the tires. And you only need to check the cold tire air pressure, by the way. You don't have to keep checking it through your trip. The telescoping outside mini kitchenette that they have here is something that they use in a lot of different floor plans here at Jayco. Well, I guess here at Haylett RV in the Jaycos, pardon me. And it's simple, but it's effective. Now remember that by going kind of minimalist here with nothing but the essentials, they did create a larger closet in the bathroom directly above this. But look at this, guys. This little thing here still has its own real sink that goes down into the gray tank of the bathroom. So it's a real sink with a real drain. It doesn't just like drizzle onto the floor, or the ground rather, and it's not a dog dish style. And if you don't care to do any cooking outside, leave it closed, and congratulations, you got a stainless steel prep zone right here that otherwise you wouldn't have, and that ain't all bad either. You know what, actually, I went a little bit out of my normal routine here, but I think we just about got her. I haven't mentioned things like the larger 30-inch entry door, or the key-like system where one key gets you through the entry door, the deadbolt, the baggage doors, or the simple little solar prep. But that's tiny stuff, and I think we just covered it right there. So if you have other questions, give us a call here at Haylett RV. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, and everything in between. And in case you haven't noticed, we also throw a bad joke in there for free, you know, free of charge every now and then. You know why? Because camping's about having a little fun, and you can't take life too serious because you're never going to make it out alive, guys. So with that, on that note, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.